Hi girls, this is our start of algebra, so that's really exciting. Let's make sure we're really keyed in here. So this is our introduction to algebra, which some of you know about already, but there's lots and lots of important vocabulary you might not know. So let's get that straight. So a pronumeral or a variable, we can use either word, is a letter that represents a number. So you've seen 5x written. X is just a number that's sitting there next to the 5 being multiplied. So on that note, A times B is written as AB. We don't write that times sign anymore because we don't want to get it confused with an X. And A divided by B in algebra is written as A over B as a fraction. So we don't use the times sign or the divide sign anymore now that we're in algebra. All right, a term has numbers and variables with multiplication and division, and terms are split up by plus and minus signs. So let me give you some examples of a term. So a term is something like 7xy. Okay, it's got a number and it's got 2 letters, but that's all. No plus and minus signs. Now let me give you another example. 3a over 5bc. This is multiplication, this is division, this is multiplication underneath. Those are all just terms. Sometimes we just get something like this, 2x plus 5. And when we do that, this thing is called a constant term. It has no letter with it. So a constant term, make yourself a note, has no pronumeral or no variable. Okay? This thing right here, maybe it's dry enough that I can use my yucky yellow. This right here is 2 terms. Because terms are split up by plus and minus signs. So 2 terms there, constant term. This is called the x term, but there are 2 terms here. Okay, let's look at this. An algebraic expression has numbers and pronumerals, but it could be a bunch of terms. This has 3 terms. This is the x term, this is the yz term, and this is the, you guessed it, constant term. So this has 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. All right. When we are looking at a single term, sometimes we can name its parts. When it has a number times the x, so it's just sitting outside, out in front, we call it the coefficient. Okay, the coefficient. It's the number that's multiplied by the letter. So in this one up here, 5 was a coefficient and 11 was a coefficient because they were the numbers that sat out the front. This, of course, is the variable or pronumeral, and I'll call them both interchangeably. I'm not worried about that. And then this little 2 up here, I know what you're saying, you're yelling out the name of it already, is called an index. That's where bid mass gets its I, the index, okay? Or we can call it an exponent. Okay, wow, okay, so let's do some examples here. It says list the individual terms of this expression. So 3a is one of them, b is one of them, and 13c is another one of them. State the coefficient of each pronumeral in this expression. Well, the pronumeral of a is 3, the pronumeral of b is 1. There's an imaginary little 1 there. When there's no coefficient, the coefficient is 1. And 13. Now, oftentimes, every year, in fact, people will say to me, but you told us b was 1. b is not 1. I don't know what b is. It's some number. It's hiding underneath there, that number. But the coefficient of it, the times number by it, is 1 times b is the same as b. Then it says, give an example of any expression with exactly 2 terms, one of which is a constant term. I'm sure you can do that. All right, let's keep going. Okay, let's do some word examples. It says, write an expression for each of the following. 5 more than k, blah, blah, blah. You know what I want you to do? I want you to pause the video and do these. Okay, through magic, these just got done, and I hope you have those answers. This has to be in this order. This can say k plus 5, but this cannot say 3 minus m because subtraction has to be done in the correct order. 3 less than m, so m minus 3 it has to be. All right, the next one says write an expression for each of the following without using multiply or divide symbols, and I'm going to write them down here. So p is halved, and then it is added to 4. The sum of x and y is taken, and then, that means those, it is divided by 7. The sum of x and 1/7 of y. Or I could write this as either one of these, this one or this one. 5 is subtracted from k, and the result is tripled. 5 is subtracted from k, and the result, that tells me to use the brackets, is tripled. Tripled means multiplied by 3. Okay, I love it. 5A in the book, 3 to 7, do all the parts. Well done, girls.